Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with David Werther and Tessa Compton, both of David Werther Carvings and Gift Shop. Let's talk about that gift shop a little bit. What are some things I would find there?
It's just a wonderful land of shopping.
Say no more.
A lot of the women and husbands who wait in the gift shop will come in and say that we have one of the best gift shops in the area. And I have to tell you, it's challenging not to spend my whole paycheck there. We have great local items. We have brooms that are made by an Amish family just 5 miles down the road from us. We have other locally made jewelry, wind chimes, and different unique housewares and gifts. But really our staple is our Werther knives that we have started carrying.
I had to ask, do you sell something with Werther written on it? And those knives are so unique, aren't they? I'm thinking of the pattern, the swirly pattern, and so forth. Talk about a Werther knife.
Well, a Werther knife is a true gem. One, it's made locally. So it's a souvenir if you're traveling through that you can actually say came from the place that it was made. It's made of a high carbon tool steel and with a beechwood handle that has a resin. And it's a beautiful knife. I mean, people stop and just stare at them whether they're interested in a knife or not. And then once you learn about them, you can't help but be interested. David's family's been making knives since 1902 when Mooney actually made a paring knife for his mother. He was 17 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that because when we see these trains that he carved, it's hard to keep reminding ourselves this was his hobby, not his job. His job itself was as a knife maker, yes?
Well, he worked. My grandfather worked in a steel factory till he was 38, and then after that, he actually showed his carvings around the country, which was a traveling tour exhibit that he had for many years, which he and his brother operated. And then to augment his income after the age of 38, he made and sold knives. And the knife making, the only time it was really a full-time job for Grandpa was during World War II, when gas rationing and tire rationing put his traveling exhibit to a stop. So he had to make a living by making knives during the war, and he made commando knives, which are highly collectible. And we have a display of a collection of my grandfather's knives on display in our exhibit there at David Werther Carvings.
Amazing to see. Talk about that traveling a little bit. He was kind of a rock star, wasn't he? Going around.
Today it would not work, but starting in the 1920s, and you kind of have to picture back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, people weren't going to Disney. Disney was coming to the people. And so there were many different traveling exhibits back then that traveled around the country. Most of them were educational. Some of them were strictly entertainment. But they went to your hometown. And Grandpa actually and his brother would physically drive an exhibit truck, which was a large box truck, into your hometown. They would get a permit from your city office, and they would set up a display and show the carvings, and it was quite entertaining. And they had a route. They actually traveled throughout the year. They went to the south in the winter. They went north in the summer.
Smart.
And they just went to all 48 states. They even dipped into Mexico and Canada. And it was a very, very popular traveling exhibit.
So interesting to me to remember that he was on The Tonight Show. He was on with Johnny Carson.
He was on Johnny Carson. He was on Mike Douglas. Yes.
Okay, well, here's my challenge to you. You need to be on with Jimmy Fallon because your carvings are absolutely as interesting, and I just think that would be so perfect, and I'm sure he would love them.
My wheels are turning
Tessa?
now.
Okay, Tessa.
How can I make this happen?
Giving that to you. Take care of that. Make it so.
Absolutely.
Okay, not just Werther knives there, but you have something very interesting called the dinner tours. Tell us about those.
Oh, yes. So groups of 30 or more can actually book a private tour that includes a professionally catered dinner. So they can come to our place after hours. They will get a tour with the carver himself and also get to eat dinner with him. And we have a wonderful menu that has been provided to us from a professional caterer who is top-notch in what he does. And so you get to pick one of 3 different items for your group and sit amongst the carvings the whole evening as you eat and dine. Talk about Disney. I mean, I think that's the most Disney you can get in Amish country. And what's really great about the carvings themselves, whether you're getting to sit with David and share a meal with him and become part of his life story for an evening, or whether you are passing through in one of our tours, is that people, they carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. But when they walk through our exhibit and they see these ships and they see what passion and perseverance and commitment can do, people get to leave renewed and refreshed, and they really go out inspired to change the world in their own small way.
Absolutely, yes. Everyone's got a hobby or some
Right.
kind of interest, a little passion.
Or a gift. You know, it
Yes.
could just be opening the door for someone, or you have a great smile that you flash at someone who you know is sad. It doesn't have to be something as miraculous as a carving, but all of us have that gift that we can share to make the world a better place, much like what the ship did in opening up the world to each other. I mean, the
What
ship
a
changed civilization.
message. And was that your intent of opening this museum? Because that is the message. Look what anybody can take their God-given gift and do something incredible.
Well, that really is the cornerstone of what we're doing. The purpose of making the carvings was to have an educational exhibit and an exhibit that would also be inspirational. So those are the two things that I've been aiming at my whole life, is to try to make something that's a little bit different, something unique that will inspire and help people in their own lives and their own work.
And what's fascinating about the ship, and this isn't something I realized until I joined the team at David Werther Carvings, is that you can look at one item in history. And the ship is really one of the oldest pieces of technology that we're still using today, maybe besides a cup or a spoon. You know, technology will wear out over time, but not the ship. And as you follow the course of its history, you can see how one small piece of technology that's been worked on by hundreds of people over thousands of years really changed the course of our story, so that people like you and I are even talking today.
Yes.
I mean, who knows? I would probably be a servant in England right now, you know, had not this beautiful ship come along that people could seek new adventures and try to start new stories.
How you display them is absolutely beautiful as well. Talk about that. The lighting, the casing, the whole presentation. It's all in the presentation.
Well, David worked with an architect for quite some time to design the building that we have.
Well, we did. We had a lot of fun designing the building. I met with an architect down in Dover, New Philadelphia area. We both had the same sense of humor, and we agreed to meet once a month for an afternoon, and we did that for 4 years to design this building.
Wow.
And you would have thought we were punch drunk by the time we finished each day. We were really having a lot of fun with it. But the building itself is designed to be square, so it's 100 foot by 100 foot. It's a 10,000 square foot building. We have a roof that goes to a point, so it's a pyramid roof, and that was to honor the Egyptians who actually started building ships. They were the first at building ships.
Wow.
And we designed the building to have theatrical lighting. We have, I'm a little bit at a loss here as to what to
it's
say.
a very theatrical place. When you walk in, the lighting is low, except for these spotlights that shine on these ships. And the ships, being that they're antique ivory, are white. And so they have this mysterious, calming glow about them. And they just light up the whole room. And so as you walk from room to room, there's 5 total, each representing a different time period in the history of the ship, going from ancient Egypt to medieval times to the age of exploration, and then ending in modern-day ships. You really just get this sense of awe and wonder through these very ambiance spaces.
It is. It's an experience, and that's the exact right word. How many ships have you carved, David?
Actually, I'm working on ship number 83. Wow. So I've made 82 complete carvings. They're all on display there. Some of them are as simple as an ancient Egyptian ship that started on the Nile River. It would only take maybe a month or 2 for me to carve. Others have taken a year and a half each to carve. And so they all vary, but on average I've made 2 ships a year for the last 40 years.
Okay, well, all right. That's what I was trying to figure out mathematically. Thanks for spelling it out for us there. Where did you keep them before you had this amazing museum where they're showcased so spectacularly?
Well, keep in mind I started carving the ships that we have on display starting at age 17 when I was in high school. And so for quite a few years, I was just a kid making ships and keeping them.
So
And
your
then-
room or your basement
Well,
or
I-
your mom hung on to
Right,
them?
right. Well, we kept them. I kept them at home, and then I started working with different museums and galleries to display them part time in New England. And so I would take my carvings to Nantucket Historical Museum and so forth, Mystic Seaport, and they were displayed off and on for many years that way. And then in 1993, we opened a little museum down where Dutch Valley is, the well-known restaurant and gift shop area and so forth. And so we were located there from 1993 to 2003. And we closed in 2003 so that I could actually get a lot of work done on my ships to reopen. We were getting very busy from a tourism standpoint at Dutch Valley, and I just wasn't getting the carving done that I wanted to get done. So we closed with an eye on reopening, and that all worked out. We were closed exactly 10 years, opened in 2013.
Wow, perfect. I knew we would run out of time. Tell us, first of all, address, where can we find you?
We are at 1775 State Route 39 between Sugar Creek and Walnut Creek, Ohio.
And website?
www.warther.org.
Warther.org.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you so much to David Warther and Tessa Compton. You got to come back. That's just all there is to
We
it.
would love to.
Thanks for joining us in our community.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yay! Awesome
Was that-
sauce.
are you good with
Oh
that?
my
Are you happy?
gosh, yeah, that was so good. That just went so fast, I can't get over it.
Just some of these drag on, and you have to try to pull information out of somebody.
Yeah. Yes. Do I tell you this story or do I not?
You can tell us without telling who it was.
No, it would tell you who it was.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So funny.
There was somebody after the first half, 14 minutes, they were done. They were just done. And so I was like, now we actually have a second half if you have more to share. But they had such a memorized talk that they weren't able to just carry on conversation. Because,
Right.
you know,
It
because
was
you can go
canned.
back and forth. It was very canned, and it was very interesting for 14 minutes. And then she had nothing. And so... So what I did was I kind of closed
Was
out,
it
and
first ladies?
it was not.
Okay.
But I called my friend at the Canton Car Museum and said I need another half of a show, and she was like,
Oh.
"Put me on." So I did, yeah. So we just did it that
That's
way.
neat.
I combined it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was creative.
While you're
problem
seeing
solving.
this, you can see this.
That's
And
fantastic.
don't miss this. We're just going to take you through all kinds of things today. All right. Did I get your picture? Did not.
No.
Okay, great. May I take your picture?
Sure.
All right.
Do you want us together?
Yeah,
Yeah.
together, and then what I'll put together is just something for, yeah, this is good. All right. Oh, that's just perfect. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Yay.
Very good.
I'll do that for social media. I'll send that to you.
Great.
Feel free to use that for
We would love
for
to
social
put it on
media.
our
And
site.
also, this, you might be interested in this as well. About a week after this airs, and you air on July 22nd, about a week later, give her about a week, this will be permanently up on the archive. So if you ever want to use this interview for, email it out, put it on your website, in social
Great.
media, whatever, you can always use this to refer.
Newsletter.
I was just going to say.
Yeah,
we
pop
could-
it in as a link in
Yeah.
We
your
didn't
newsletter.
even talk about Friends the Carver.
Oh, well. That's why we have to
Another
come back.
show.
You're coming back.
Right.
You're coming back. So, yep.
Awesome.
So great. And then what would be the best email? I'll send it to you, Tessa. What?
Info at warther.org.
Perfect.
We just keep it simple.
Perfect. All right. I'll put that together and send it to you.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you
Thank
so
you
much.
So
Yeah.
good. Oh my
I
gosh.
loved it.
Now we're going to go to Taggart's.
That's what. Yes.
Celebrate.
Must go to. Oh, your wife didn't come along.
She did not. She's got the grandkids today, and I begged her to come along, and she said, "I really have,
Take her back a
swimming
bit,
and all this."
Ner.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we could. Yeah.
I think
I'm
that-
taking my husband back an ice cream sandwich.
There you go. Yeah, you got to do
Make
that.
this work.
I've got to ask you. Do your grandchildren show any sign of being able to
No, not yet. We don't have one in that car.
give them a little piece of soap and a? That's what my dad did with my kids. We give them a little piece of soap.